All right. So, hey, everybody, John Troutman, another episode of Truth or Comfort. I have Mitch Nelson on today. Thank you for joining us today, Mitch. I appreciate your time. I'm excited to
Thanks
have
for
you
having
on
me.
here. Been trying to
Yeah,
work
it's
with you
always here.
forever. You guys have a lot of respect for Mitch. I went out, met with, gosh, it's been about 3 years now, right? Since
Yeah,
we met.
yeah, it's been a minute.
And some of the stuff that Mitch is doing and has done just blew my mind. Just watching how creative and financing you are, the way that you manage deal flow. Like I hadn't met anybody doing the stuff that you're doing. So I'm excited to talk to you about this today. You guys, Mitch has a couple YouTube sites. We'll go through that at the end here, but just so people could follow you, log on, check out some of your guys' educational stuff, but also your website. But more importantly, like he's a best-selling author, Mindset to Millionaire. Yeah, awesome book. What drove you to write that book? I'm just curious.
Oh man, it was a chain of events, and I can go into it if you'd like me to. It
Well, I
started.
think the topic, and this is just for whatever it's worth, the mindset piece is so critical in real estate. I mean, we just had Raphael on episode, and he's huge into mindset. And prior to that, I mean, everybody's talked about mindset in real estate, which is kind of ironic, right? Like it's
Yeah,
the
no,
mindset. This piece of real estate is probably the most fertile and most important.
yeah,
So I'm going to let you talk about it, please. I'd love to hear
yeah,
how this
no,
book came about.
absolutely, and that's it, right? That's the key. What you nailed it. It's mindset first. I was 27 years old. I was working a job selling websites. I was going small business to small business,
Mm.
trying to peddle website services for the company I was working for, making 40 grand a year, living in a 2-bedroom apartment. Um, at 27 years old, average American, should have been happy, but I wasn't, and I think it's because I had these lofty goals that I had set for myself in my early 20s. Of what, by the time I'm 30, I want to be a millionaire, and by the time I'm 35, I want to make $1 million in a calendar year, right? And
Mm.
here I was, 27 years old, much closer chronologically to that goal than I was financially, and I had nowhere to turn. I mean, nobody in my industry that I was working in was making that kind of money, and so I knew I had to make a radical change. And so what I decided to do was I decided to start studying wealthy people. So I
Mm.
picked up every book that I could find that was either written by or written about millionaires or billionaires, right? I mean, Rich Dad Poor Dad was one of the first books I read. All the Napoleon Hill books.
Right.
I read the Walter Isaacson's biography of Steve Jobs, and I got addicted to this study. I started. I remember I went to Target and I bought like a handful, like 7 composition notebooks, just a line paper, right? And I started taking notes furiously, and I didn't know what I was looking for. Like when I first started this study, I'm like, there's something in here. It was like panning for gold, right? And so I just started writing down everything. Like, okay, Steve Jobs eats Wheaties for breakfast. Maybe that's the key. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I just started filling these things. And before I knew it, I had filled the 7 composition notebooks, and I had scrap paper and legal pads and napkins and stuff that I was writing notes on. And I realized, I've done the study part, right? I've done the extracting the information. Now I need to go back through the information, read through my notes, and figure out, okay, what is the secret sauce? And as I started whittling it down, I started to realize, wealthy people are just the same as everybody else. I mean, they've got fears, and they've got, they're happy sometimes, and they're sad sometimes, and they have to breathe air, and they've got 24 hours in a day, and they're hungry and but there was one major thing that divided the two groups, and I came to call them the employee mindset and the wealthy mindset, and that was just that, the way they think, their mindset.
Mm.
Right? That was the only thing, is what was going on up here, that was different between a poor person and a rich person. And so, my through that editing process, my notes became a 180-page paper, and my paper turned into a book. And when I first published my book, it's actually self-published on Amazon,
Oh, wow.
just on Kindle. When I first published it, my thought was, I've done all this work. It'd be fun for, my mom and dad and my, some of my close friends to kind of see what I've been up to. but in the first 4 weeks or so, it took off.
Oh, wow.
It went number one bestseller in 4 categories on Amazon in 2015, and stayed there for weeks. So that's really, honestly, John, that's what got me into coaching. Was when I wrote my book, and the success that it had. It gave me this sense of accomplishment, or this sense of, almost like a high of helping other people kind
Yeah.
of come to the same realization that I did. And that's what really the major thing that set me on the path to, I want to share this information with people. And eventually what led to us sharing this information for free and just putting it on YouTube. We got a great beginner's course for real estate investors, which includes our mindset training that's on our YouTube channel.
Yeah. Well, isn't that the purpose of life, is to find your passion and then give your passion away in whatever form that is, right?
Yeah.
So to some degree, I know we have to make a living, but as long as you're passionate about it, and obviously you've helped a lot of people as well. I mean, just thinking of the creative stuff that you've done, like your speed banking, for example, is unlike anything else. To me, that's like revolutionary, right?
Yeah.
Do you have that on your one of your channels?
We do. Yeah. It's on the Flippin' Sexy Real Estate Education channel.
The education one. Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
just youtube.com/Flippin' Sexy Real Estate Education. And I mean, speed banking's awesome, man.
Yeah, I want people to watch it. So we'll post a link to this, you guys, so you guys could see it. But that is like in my opinion, that's a game changer, right? I haven't seen it presented anything quite like that, right? And then once you see it, you're like, yeah, okay, I need to watch that again. So
No, it's an awesome thing, and it's one of those that there's, I think we've got kind of like two different type of light bulb moments.
mm-hmm.
When you learn something and a light bulb goes on, there's the I never would have thought of that on my own, and there's the why didn't I think of that before, right? And that's kind of the light bulb that went off for me when I first learned that strategy. It came to me in a different package, and I kind of applied it to what I do, and have retaught it. I think in a more comprehensive way. But what's interesting about it is, as you look at banking, a lot of people don't think about a bank being a business. But you go into any major city. I mean, you're in Phoenix. I'm in Salt Lake City. Go anywhere in the country. The biggest buildings. Whose names are on the biggest buildings?
Yeah, all the banks.
The banks, right? Chase, Wells Fargo. It's one of the biggest businesses in the world, if not the biggest business in the world. There's a lot of money in it, and people don't think of their bank as being a business. They think, my bank's there to help me, which, capitalism. I mean, there's a certain level of we look out for our customers, right? But also, you are the bank's customer, and they want to make as much money as they can off of you. So the way that they've structured banking, and they've got a 200-year track record. I mean, they've been able to develop this perfect machine that just funnels money. Things like savings accounts and checking accounts. If you really dig into it, these are the least profitable, least useful tools for us. Mortgages, car loans. There's a reason they call it a car loan. They want you to get that loan, in particular when you're buying a car, not because it's best for you, but because it's best for them. It's going to make them the most money.
Right.
So as you start digging into this stuff, you start to realize, well, the bank's just recommending everything that's going to make them money, which means it's costing me money. So there has to be a better way to do my banking that's going to save me more money in the long run. And that's really what speed banking is at its core, is understanding the banking process and how that applies to you as the bank's customer. We don't ask the right questions. We weren't taught to ask the right questions in elementary school, middle school, and high school. So we just trust whatever the bank tells us to do. And usually that's going to be, to their best benefit.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's revolutionary, and I do think people should watch it. So we will put a link over to your guys' YouTube channel, and yeah, you guys, you got to watch this. We could spend the entire episode on that. So please click over and watch it after this. But
Maybe
okay,
we should one day.
What's that?
Maybe we should have a speed banking episode one day.
We absolutely should. We could do it on the next one. How about that?
There you go. I love it.
Okay.